Distrokid versus LANDR. Which music distributor is better for you and your needs? That's what we're going to explore in this video. Also, real quick, I'm comparing kind of the middle tier of each of these plans. So not the cheapest one, but also not their most expensive plans, just kind of like that middle tier. And the reason I decided to choose those tiers is because you get a little bit more with each of these. For example, you can customize when you're going to actually release your song. You can choose a custom release date. You can have like a label name. You can have multiple artist profiles. You can upload music under multiple band names and different things like that. I think it's really more so the plan that you would want to go with at some point in the future if you're like a artist who's serious about actually having people listen to your music and you want to go about promoting your music. So that's kind of why I'm comparing these plans, and everything kind of scales down from here. So if you're doing the cheaper plan, it kind of take these prices and kind of scale them down similarly. Anyway, so the thing with Distrokid is there's a lot of like extras that they don't include that LANDR does include. Now, I did a full detailed video breaking down just the pricing differences between Distrokid and LANDR, so you can go check that out. I'll have that linked in the description below, so I won't go over all that. But real quick, looking at this, you can see with the musician plan here with Distrokid, if you want to say have your music included in YouTube Content ID, which allows you to earn money if your song is used in a YouTube video, you have to pay an extra almost $5 a year for that. They also have their leave a legacy option here too. So if something were to happen to your credit card or your payment, or you cancel, then all your music would be taken down, but you can pay for leave a legacy so that your music stays on forever. So little stuff like that, that's like extras that add up and aren't really factored into the price. Again, you can check out that video for more details, but in short, over 5 years, if you're paying for all the extras, which are just included automatically in LANDR, you're paying like $1,524. That includes like cover songs, because if you want to do a cover song, you're paying $12 a year per cover song. In LANDR, you're only paying $164 a year. That's assuming you are releasing 3 singles, 3 covers, and 3 albums over 5 years. So you can see the cost really can add up, which is really prohibitive, I think. So I would actually say LANDR is the clear winner here. The other cool thing about LANDR is if you don't like the subscription model, you can actually pay per release, so $9 a single or $25 for an album, which again gives you a lot more flexibility, which makes this an even greater pricing model. So LANDR is the winner here. Earnings are a tie. Both of them give you 100% of your royalties, so that's awesome. Distribution is a tie. They both distribute to over 150 platforms. Did you know there were 150 different streaming platforms and online music stores? Well, now you know that there are a ton out there, and they both deliver to all this. Now, number of artists. LANDR is the winner here. So this is number of different artist profiles you can upload music under. You can do more with Distrokid, but you're going to have to pay a lot more. That's like their highest tier plan, which gives you more artists you can upload under. But with LANDR's middle tier and Distrokid's middle tier, Distrokid gives you 2, LANDR gives you 5. So a clear winner there, as well as LANDR. So in YouTube Content ID, I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but YouTube Content ID lets you claim royalties whenever your music is copyrighted. Copyrighted music appears on YouTube. This means getting paid each time anyone uploads your performances or uses samples of your music in their videos. So this is a way to make sure you're collecting all the earnings you're owed. And so with Distrokid, it's $4.95 a year per release. And if that isn't bad enough, they also take a 20% cut. LANDR also takes a 20% cut. Almost all the distributors take some kind of cut in exchange for this service, which makes sense. But with LANDR, it's free. You're not having to pay an extra $5 a year per release. And that really adds up if you're releasing music. So when I had Distrokid, I just never paid for this tool, and so maybe I was actually losing out on some royalties. I don't know. Payment splitting. LANDR is the winner here, as well, as this is free. So with all these different distribution platforms, if you want to split payments, say you collaborate on a song with someone, and you say, hey, let's split the royalties 50-50. That should be pretty easy to do with most distributors, but there is some difficulty sometimes with some of these. So usually it requires both of you to have an account with that same distributor. So for example, with Distrokid, if you want to collaborate with someone, it's free. If you want to split the payments, it's free if you both have Distrokid. But if someone doesn't have Distrokid, then they're going to have to sign up and they get a 50% discount, which works out to be $11.50 a year. So if someone doesn't have Distrokid, that person is going to have to pay, or you have to pay for them or something. extra $11.50 a year. With LANDR, you also have to both have a LANDR account, but if someone doesn't have an account and they want to sign up just for the payment splitting, they can sign up for a free account. So that makes LANDR the winner here as well, because it's a much lower barrier to entry. It makes it a lot easier to split payments. Then you have cover song licensing. This is a big one. One of the main reasons why I switched from Distrokid to LANDR is because with Distrokid, it was really prohibitive and made me just not want to put out cover songs, period. I put out one cover song with Distrokid, and I was paying $12 a year for it until I switched to LANDR and then deleted it from Distrokid. And I basically broke even. That's great. But you want to actually earn money from your cover songs as well as use it for discovery. So with LANDR, it's great because you just pay a $15 one-time fee. So after 1 year, basically you're already beating out Distrokid. So you can also go and buy and purchase the license yourself if you want to. You can go like easy song licensing and then just show all the documentation to LANDR, which is great. Distrokid didn't let you do that. If you want to do a cover song, you had to do it their way. You couldn't go and get the license yourself. So that was really prohibitive. I really like how LANDR does it. And if you don't want to mess with all that, like trying to hunt down the license and making sure you're getting enough, paying enough for the license, because how much you pay determines on like how many streams you think you're going to get or how many downloads and purchases. And so you might need to pay more in the future if it outperforms. If you don't want to deal with that, you can just pay a one-time $15 fee to LANDR and they'd handle all that for you, which is pretty cool. But LANDR is the clear winner here for cover song licenses as well. Now, real quick, if you are looking for a distributor and you want to put out music into the world, you probably are wanting to get some streams. And the bad news is just uploading to one of these distributors isn't going to get you streams. You actually kind of have to promote your music. And maybe you're just a hobbyist and you're not crazy about, going full time with this, but you still want to have people listening to your music and spreading joy and everything that your music provides. So if you want to get more streams, then definitely grab my free playlist secrets guide in the description below, or go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/Spotify secrets. And this breaks down how you can grow your own playlist, how to get your music onto Spotify playlists, and even trigger the algorithms that Spotify promotes your music for you. And you can even use these strategies and scale them up to the point where you're making $500 to $1,000 a month just from your Spotify royalties alone, which is a really great side income, or you could even reinvest that into your music business to go even farther and actually make a full-time income eventually. So if you want to just get more streams, definitely get this guide. It's completely free. It's more like a little ebook. So grab that in the description below now. All right, back to this video. So that's cover song licensing. What about speed to Apple and Spotify? So how fast does your song show up in stores? So Distrokid is basically 1 day on Spotify, 1 to 7 days for Apple Music, and I've tested this myself. I created a song 1 day and then uploaded it, and it had to go live the very next day. That was pretty cool. It's actually one of my most popular songs. It's a Christmas song. I did a whole video about that. If you want to learn more about that strategy for creating Christmas songs, I'll have a link to that below. And so that definitely worked. LANDR says that they take 2 days, so Distrokid is basically a little faster here. So I would lean them. The reason I just called this a toss-up because is there a huge difference between 1 day and 2 days? I don't know. Apple Music takes up to 7 days, so it's a 5-day difference there. Is that a huge deal? I don't think so. So they're both pretty fast. So that's why I call it a toss-up. I think it's kind of splitting hairs to declare a winner there. So then what if you cancel? This is a big deal, right? Like these are difficult financial times. What if, right, something happens to your credit card or something? So what do you do? Well, with Distrokid, your music's just gone unless you pay for their Leave a Legacy feature, which is really great. A lot of platforms don't offer this. So that's $29 per single or $49 per album if you want that, and then your music will stay up on platforms forever. Now with LANDR, you don't have to pay anything if you cancel or if something happens to your payment. They just take a 15% cut. So you still, without paying any more, not paying for the LANDR subscription anymore, your music stays up on platforms, number one, which is huge, and you still get paid 85% royalties. So that's incredible. So LANDR has the best plan here when it comes to cancellation, which makes it one of the best platforms to make sure your music stays up indefinitely for as long as human civilization continues and we have electricity and so on. So with that in mind, who is the winner? Well, let's just kind of summarize this, break this down. You can see a lot of LANDR here wins for a lot of these categories. There's a couple ties, but LANDR has the best price, the best number of artist profiles, the best when it comes to YouTube content ID, payment splitting, cover song licensing, and cancellation policy. Distrokid's a little bit faster. So overall, I think it's clear the winner is LANDR, which is why I actually switched to LANDR myself. I was using Distrokid for a long time. The first distributor I ever signed up with was CD Baby. Then I switched to Distrokid. And then when I discovered LANDR, I'm like, oh, this is way better than what I currently have. So I switched to LANDR. And so LANDR is now what I recommend. And the great thing is you can actually get this even more affordably. You can go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/LANDR and you can get 20% off your first year. So that makes it even cheaper and more affordable for you. So definitely recommend that. So definitely save yourself some money. If you do decide to sign up for one of these distributors, just be sure to use my affiliate link because that allows me to earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. And it helps me feed my family of 5 children as they are growing and they are very hungry. And yes, that is a large family. So you can save 20% on LANDR. Go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/LANDR. And you can also save 7% on Distrokid, right? If you're not convinced that LANDR is better and you want to do Distrokid, you can also save 7% on your first year of Distrokid by going to orpheusaudioacademy.com/Distrokid. So if you've watched this video and you're still not sure which distributor you should go with, I compared the top 8 music distributors out there today and looked at all the different pricing comparisons, what they give you, hidden fees, everything you need to know about these distributors, and compared them all and determined which one is the best. So if you want to check out that video, just click the box on the screen right now or click in the description below and I'll see you over there.